Audio straight from his home in Baltimore, Maryland. It ain't quite live, but it's right on time. It's the Mr. Lewis Weekly Update with your host, Mr. Lewis.
Oh, hey guys, greetings and salutations, and welcome to week 8 of the Mr. Lewis Weekly Update. I know I'm coming to you a day or so late. I'm sorry about that, but had to enjoy this great holiday in the weather. Work went live at 8:30 this morning. Remember, you have till Friday at 11:59 to get it done. We have class tomorrow for B-Day classes starting at 7:45. So let's go to the big board.
You'll see everything. You'll see the big board.
That is precisely the idea, General.
We are at the big board, week 8. We're almost done. We're getting there. Seniors, this is your last week. Congratulations. So with all that being said, let's get right into it.
Bringing you some good news for a better mood. Here's a little bit of happiness.
First little bit of happiness, just like we've done in the past, some dancing. We got to dance. We got to dance for those seniors. We got to dance for all of us going insane while we're in our houses. So let's go ahead and check out this dancing clip.
Wait.
Renegade,
Go. Got one. Go. Go. Oh, go. Yeah. Go. Go. Go.
Super cute, super adorable, and bringing the happiness. As many of you know, I just became a father back in January. And I'm already starting to take notes at other great fathers that I see out in the world, and there's several of you, and you know, we're no match for the great mothers out there. The mothers are the true heroes. But every now and then it's nice to see a father be a true hero. That's right, Jamie and his 3-year-old daughter in Spain dress up in costumes to do the most mundane activities like taking out the garbage or going to get the mail. And this is a fad that's sweeping the nation that you can see here in the United States, you can see in the UK, you can see in Canada. So I said sweeping the nation. I really should say sweeping the globe. Because the next little bit of happiness, we're going to jump to the field of medicine and science. Baylor College of Medicine in Houston, Texas has developed a program that allows blind people to see without seeing. Check it out. Another dad stepping up to the plate. I mean, I really just gotta take notes, and I feel like my wife might be trying to send me messages through these clips that she keeps finding. But this dad in Surrey, England, surprised his not only his kids but his wife with a homemade ball pit in their house. I actually kind of did something like this for my wife years ago. I had a bunch of her friends and myself. We filled her room with balloons, so when she opened the door, we were all in there and we jumped out and the balloons came out. Hey, check it out. This dad in England totally took it up a notch. Here we go.
Look at the size of this. I'm not sure this is a good idea now. The kitchen is so deep. Oh! I can hear them, I can hear them. Yeah? No, Mum doesn't know. He's gonna go mad.
Oh! What? How many balls is this?
250,000 balls. Go!
Clearly there's a trend this week going on with the little bit of happiness, and this next one, once again a father, surprised his 11-year-old son with an organ. his son loved to play the organ in their church, and I guess now with the pandemic, obviously services are canceled or being held outside and in smaller populations. This kid's unable to do it, and his father's like, no, not on my watch, man. Here we go. So hopefully this week brightens your day. I know we kind of had a trend of fathers going on, and maybe that's because people are posting them to get ready for Father's Day. Now I feel bad not doing one for Mother's Day. Like I said, the mothers are the real heroes a lot of the times. I know my wife is superwoman compared to what I do. So I do apologize for that. But hopefully these videos brightens your day. Once again, if you find any video you want me to share, remember we got 2 more videos this year coming up. We got two more Mr. Lewis updates for the school year. So if you come up with anything that brightens your day that you think would brighten others or brighten mine, please go ahead and send it to me, and we'll get down to it.
To keep you abreast of what's relevant, let's get to Poppin Fresh with professionals.
Poppin Fresh this week, I have a very special guest. My friend Samantha, who works at Towson University in the admissions office, is here to talk about her job and just, kind of what goes into getting accepted into college. And ma'am, take it away.
Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Scanlan. I wanted to thank Mr. Lewis for inviting me to speak with you all today. I'm very excited. I am currently the Senior Assistant Director of Admission at Towson University. Go Tigers! You might know us just around the corner. We have some famous alums, including your teacher, Mr. Lewis. TU is the leading producer of educators in the state of Maryland, so you might have some other teachers around your building that might have been Towson grads. What I do basically in a nutshell is I recruit, speak to students similar to this, and I review applications for students that are interested in coming to Towson as a freshman or a transfer student. There's a lot more to my job, but that's the basics. I do a lot of public speaking. I do a lot of writing. I actually do a lot of math too. I have to recalculate some GPAs. So when they say you're never going to use this, you will use what you're learning in the classroom now in your field, no matter what you think that you might be interested in doing. I also work with our student phone center, so I manage about 30 student workers. So students on campus that have jobs in our phone center, answering just general questions and calls about the application process in Towson in general. I also review residency for students to see if they're in-state or out-of-state. So that's really a bulk load of my job at the university. I got started at Elizabethtown College, is where I got my bachelor's degree, which is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I changed my major about 5 times. I was one of those token students that had no idea what they wanted to do. I started off wanting to be a teacher, and I wanted to teach math, but Calculus 2 got me. So that was a thing. So then I changed to accounting because I was like, this should be easy and you'll definitely get a job, but I was really bored, so I couldn't do it. And then I ended up in social work as well as sociology, and ended up finally choosing psychology. I also worked 2 jobs on campus and studied abroad. So your college experience really is important, not only coming from my actual job as a college admission counselor, but no matter where you're looking to go or what field you're looking to go into. If you are thinking about higher education, it not necessarily doesn't matter where you go or what your degree is in. It's the experiences that you get to have as a student that really can dictate where your life is going to go. So besides just having my degree in psychology, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with that. Psychology is such a broad major. So I ended up applying to graduate school. I was like, why not? I don't really want to get a job. I don't want to be a real person. So why don't I just continue this education? And I got my degree, my master's degree in clinical and counseling psychology at Chestnut Hill College, which is in Philadelphia. And it was a really great experience. It was very eye-opening. What was really nice is they called me and they said that they saw that my resume had experience in being a tour guide at Elizabethtown, and they needed someone to work in their admissions office. So they offered me a graduate assistantship, which basically pays for your graduate school degree. So I worked about 20 hours in their office, and they paid for 2 of my classes. In grad school, a full course load is about 3 classes. So 2/3 of my education was paid for just by the experience that I had in undergrad, which was fantastic. And that's where I really fell in love with higher education and working with students, trying to figure out what the best process for them is, or what the best major is, or where the best university is for them, and just kind of getting to help people while using my degree, but not in the way that I thought. I had been taking, traditional therapy classes. I was actually in a internship in hospice care and end-of-life counseling, and I really appreciate the experiences that I had there, but I burn out really quickly. And I thought, oh, this is a different way to use my degree than I ever thought of. People don't grow up wanting to be admission counselors or work in higher education. So I really want you to take away from this is there are going to be jobs out there that you don't know about right now. So use your high school experiences, use your college search process, or just think about the things that you're really interested in and passionate about, and start talking to people that might have jobs that you want to have. That's the best way, I think, that you can experience and find out what you can be doing for what you choose to do after you graduate high school. But really, if you do end up choosing to go the college route, definitely get involved on your college campus. Participate in clubs, maybe join an activity you didn't think you would be interested in. Talk to someone that you've never talked to. Really just make sure that you're making the most of your experience, because for most of you, college will be about 4 to 6 years, and those years go really quickly. I know you're thinking, high school is just dragging on, right? Well, not the students in Mr. Lewis's class, but other students you might know think that. But college goes really quickly, and the world we live in is constantly changing. Obviously, we know that with the COVID-19 happening right now. You just really need to take advantage of any opportunity that you can and that you see to really make the most out of your experience. But I really appreciate the chance of getting to talk to you, and if anyone ever has any interest in higher education or TU, feel free to reach out to Mr. Lewis and he'll pass on my information. But he's also a great resource since he's a TU alum. I hope you all wish you the best of luck during the rest of this school year and further on. And then I hope that you have a great day. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Thank you, Samantha. It means a lot coming out to this show. I just want to say thank you to all my friends who have done a Poppin Fresh for us. I mean, they do not have to do these. They get nothing in return. I can bribe them and say I'm going to buy them dinner. I mean, anybody who knows me, I'm probably not going to. And with this pandemic, it makes it a lot harder. But they're doing this out of the kindness of their hearts. They're doing this because they want to attribute to your education, because they themselves maybe are bored. So big thank you to all my Poppin Fresh guests, which is a perfect segue into our mindful minute, our minute of mindfulness with the chef. So Mr. Scheffenacker, go ahead and break it down for us.
Here's a minute of mindfulness with the chef.
Welcome to this week's Mindful Minute. We're going to keep it short today. Short and sweet. Today is all about this. At this time in our lives, it's been, 9-10 weeks. I think the thing that we forget about is the people who are right next to us that kept us through all the things that were difficult in our lives over the past 3 months, all the things that were difficult the past year. I know that during the school year before COVID happened, things got kind of stressful. I miss those times. I miss the stress of walking into school and seeing all you guys. I miss you guys. I miss the talking to other people, talking to or speaking with colleagues, and getting frustrated with colleagues, and laughing with colleagues, and laughing with the students, and laughing with you guys. And I think today is mainly about thank you, not just to Mr. Lewis, who provides this weekly, or your teachers who provide things weekly. It's to the parents, or to the brother or the sister or the grandmother or the aunt or the uncle or the friend who has always been there for us. If you're watching this, chances are you have somebody next to you that was there for you and has been there for you. For me, I have a few friends. Thank you, Mr. Lewis, for including me on this. He'll check in on me all the time as well. He can give us a little strength for that one. But this week in mindfulness, make sure to thank somebody for being there for you over the last few months. And with that, thank you guys. I'll see you soon.
That's right, guys. Go out, tell someone thank you. It can be an email, it can be a tweet, it can be any kind of social media post. It could be a text message. Phone calls, be old school like me. I love to call people on the phone. Write them a letter. It's a great time to bring that back. Write somebody a letter and tell them thank you. Whether it was just for them brightening your day, buying you a gift. Tell your parents or your guardians or your grandparents or your aunt or your uncle. Tell them thank you. Because guarantee there's somebody out there doing something for you that helps you in your everyday life. And you'd feel very sad if you couldn't tell them thank you. So Chef and Acker, thank you for that mindful minute, for that minute of mindfulness. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, thank you for being with me, but my caffeine addiction's starting to take over, so we're going to go ahead and fill my bad boy up.
Nothing like a look back at what used to be, so here's a flashback to this day in history.
This day in history, May 26, 1897. The first copies of the classic vampire novel Dracula by Irish writer Bram Stoker appeared in London bookshelves. A child invalid, Stoker grew up to become a soccer star at Trinity College in Dublin. Over the years, Stoker began writing a number of horror stories for magazines, and in the 1890s he published his first novel, The Snake's Pass. Stoker would go on to publish 17 novels in all, but it was his 1897 novel Dracula that eventually earned him literary fame and became known as a masterpiece of Victorian-era Gothic literature. Written in the form of diaries and journals of its main characters, Dracula is the story of a vampire who makes his way from Transylvania, a region in Eastern Europe, now in Romania, to Yorkshire, England, and preys on the blood of innocents. He needs to live. Stoker had originally named the vampire Count Vampire. The main character is said to be based on Vlad the Impaler, a 15th century ruler from Romania. Vampires, who left their burial places at night to drink the blood of humans, were a popular figure in folk tales from ancient times, but Stoker's novel catapulted them to the mainstream of the 20th century. Upon its release, Dracula enjoyed moderate success, though when Stoker died in 1912, none of his obituaries even mentioned Dracula by name. Sales began to take off in the 1920s when the novel was adapted for Broadway. The 1922 silent German Impressionist film Nosferatu was the first major film to be based on Stoker's story. Dracula mania kicked into an even higher gear with Universal's blockbuster 1931 film, directed by Todd Browning and starring the Hungarian actor Bela Lugosi. Dozens of vampire-themed movies, television shows, and literature were soon to follow. Though Lugosi, with his exotic accent, remains the quintessential Count Dracula. Late 20th century examples of vampire craze include the best-selling novels of American writer Anne Rice, with the cult hit TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer. The 21st century saw the widely popular Twilight film and book series.
I am Dracula.
So let's check out this week's open letter.
That's right. It's time for this week's open letter. Thank you, John Green, keeping with our minute of mindfulness. John Green, who hosts Crash Course, does this open letter. For those who are just tuning into the show or you've watched this show before, each week I dedicate an object and we do an open letter to them, thanking them, going along with our mindfulness this week. So thank you, John Green, for creating this and allowing me to rip it off, essentially. So here we go. First, we got to check what's in the box.
What's in the box?
So what's in the box this week? It's a greeting card. There's no better way to say thank you or I love you or congratulations than a greeting card. And this is a very special greeting card. This is the greeting card I gave my wife for her first Mother's Day. And what else makes this extremely special is that this greeting card was made by a friend back home in my hometown, Brian Watkins. And Brian is a fantastic human being who is on the autism spectrum. And one of his outlets for creativity and for expressing himself is through his artwork. And his great parents, who I've known since I was probably 3 or 4 years old, helped him create this business where he creates business cards, he creates greeting cards, birthday cards, thank you cards, wrapping paper, all with his beautiful artwork and his sayings. So check them out. That's the Brian Watkins Gallery. And thank you, Brian Watkins, for the card. So a little bit of history about greeting cards. Let's get down to it. The history of greeting cards. Greeting cards can be traced all the way back to ancient China and ancient Egypt. The Chinese would actually greet themselves for Chinese New Year and send celebrations and tidings of good cheer on pieces of hand-laid paper. And same thing with the Egyptians, but on scrolls. It wouldn't be to the 1500s or the 16th century that we would see greeting cards take off on handmade paper in Europe. By the time the 1860s rolled around, greeting cards became very expensive. So it wasn't something that we do now where we go to the grocery store, we go to Target or any other store that sells greeting cards, and we buy one for a couple of bucks and we write a message in it, put it in an envelope, and either mail it or give it to somebody. And it's really, it's inexpensive. It became very expensive because of the way we were producing paper during this time. They were handmade for the most part. They're not using the printing press by Johann Gutenberg to mass produce these things. They're individual collector's items. Now, by the 1930s, greeting cards had become a staple, not only in the American society, but in European society as well, with the invention of lithography. And by the 1940s and 1950s, you were using them for essentially all holidays. And it wasn't until the 1970s that we had this great idea, why don't we use recycled greeting cards and recycled paper to push out these greeting cards? So not only a good message for humans, but a good message for Mother Earth. Dear greeting card, thank you for all you do. You allow us to express our congratulations, our love, our honor to people, our celebrations to people in a simple but yet effective form. Thank you. So that does it for this week's show. I want to thank all my guests for coming out. Miss Sam from Taliesin breaking it down for us. Mr. Scheffenacker giving us all those great mindful tips. Make sure you check out my boy Brian's gallery. Link's right there again. It's also in the information of this YouTube video. Don't forget to wash your hands and be like my man Mr. McCormick here. Stay safe, stay smart, stay stellar. God, stay home. I'll see you next week. Is this thing on? bro, can you do me a huge favor real quick? Can you take a picture of yourself washing your hands?
That's all, kid.